Welcome in, everybody, to Betting Pros. It's time to place your bets. It is me, Joey P, Joe Pisapia, and this is BP NFL. Joining me, as always, to talk about Thursday Night Football is my boy, Scott Bogman, and all of you hanging out here with us. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and, of course, Betting Pros, wherever you get your podcasts. So, Boggs, Thursday Night Football, the San Francisco 49ers hanging on for dear life, I guess. That's where we're at. The Rams in a position to make a statement. This is almost like a crappy playoff game. That's kind of what it feels like. Not a great playoff game, a playoff game where, you still go to your kid's soccer game, but you're not happy about it because you're missing it. That's the kind of playoff game we're getting tonight on Thursday Night Football, at least. But there is still a lot at stake. San Francisco not mathematically eliminated yet. Still a lot of football left to play these next few weeks. So these two teams, too, historically have had a really interesting back and forth the last couple years. When the Rams were at the top, the 49ers were the team that kept sticking it to them all the time. So is this the chance here where maybe, just maybe, Sean McVay can return the favor finally?
Yeah, I feel like this division, beats each other up. The bottom beats the top when they're running hot, and the top never seems to beat the bottom when they're running hot. It's very strange. So hotly contested, of course, in a rivalry game here. But yeah, I like the over more than anything here, honestly. I just think that the Niners offense woke up last week. I know there's still questions on who's going to be running the football there, but Matt Stafford is on a heater right now. 10 touchdowns without throwing a pick. Look great. They smoked the Bills at home last week. This is an outdoor game, and Stafford is a bit of an indoor cat, but not crazy weather. It's not going to be crazy cold. There's not going to be weird snow. It seems like the wind is normal. So let's get some scoring and some offense in this one.
The tail of the tape, by the way, for Bogman's over is 49. The under, the best number you can get, is 50, according to Betting Pros consensus right now. The line, San Francisco minus 2.5. You can get that over at Caesars, it looks like, on BP. And then Bet365 has the +3 on the Rams at minus 110. The Rams on the money line plus 138. It seems like if trend matters, then maybe the Los Angeles Rams with the over on the money line, maybe that is the combo you want to do for this game. Or you could just play it a little safer and take the +3 in the over, and that's going to get you a little bit lower number, but probably a little bit safer, Boggs. That's kind of probably where we're going to live. And it is interesting that, you're seeing that 2.5 and that 3 still at this point too, where it's going back and forth. The 49ers still down running backs too. As I said on Out of Bounds the other day, I didn't know the Christian McCaffrey curse on Madden meant every running back on the 49ers, but apparently that's the case. And now you're getting a situation where you're down to another running back, and maybe Debo's going to start getting some, more carries. He got a couple last week, so maybe you see that trend. How does that impact that game too, trying to put the ball a little bit more in Deebo Samuel's hand?
Yeah, I don't think you should. He hasn't been playing well recently. He had 5 carries last week. I think he got him 19 yards, right? So, he hit his prop, but they weren't big chunks. He hasn't been getting separation either. So I think if you're the Niners to win this game, you keep doing what you're doing in the run game. I think you offer some RPOs as well early just to show it so that it's in the back of their minds to start this game. And I think you attack the weakness of this Rams defense, which is the linebackers, Roseboom and Omar Spates. I think you hit some quick ones over the middle to George Kittle. You find Juwan Jennings deep down the middle. The secondary is the weakness of this Rams defense and the linebackers, just in pass coverage. They pass rush really well. Verse and Fiske and crew, Turner, they've been great, but the pass coverage has not been great. As we saw, they couldn't stop Josh Allen running the football either last week. Only scored 6 touchdowns. So that's why I like the over. I don't particularly trust. I don't have faith in the Niners offense as much, but the Rams defense has been bad. Niners look like they had at least a little rhythm on offense. And I know they play great defense against Chicago, but good God, Caleb Williams has to stop holding the ball. 7 sacks they had against Caleb. So
sure did.
That's there's a difference between facing a rookie and a NFL vet like Matt Stafford. And the Rams, they have won 5 times as underdogs. They've won straight up, not against the spread. They've won 6 times. They've won against the spread 6 times in those 9 matchups, but 5 they have just straight up won. as underdogs. And one of those earlier this year was against the Niners.
The weird stat, too, going into last week was that Purdy on the road had the number one QBR, and then at home he was 32nd. And then last week played much better. So, like, do you want to buy into the turnaround now? I don't know. But at home, Purdy has not been great this year. And that was something that I was in on. Dead coach bounce, all that. Everybody knows I was wrong. I'll eat it. I guess the Lions hangover is what matters most, more than anything else lately. And that would mean the Green Bay Packers this week would be this week's Lions hangover, everybody. So keep that in mind when the Seahawks win for a 4th straight week, and Uncle Joey told you. Before we get to the breakdown of the props, don't forget, we've still got a contest going on, bettingpros.com/NFL contest. You can join by visiting the community tab on the Betting Pros app, or just go directly to the link for bettingpros.com/NFL contest, sync your picks, and use the quick pick feature on the Betting Pros app, and you get a chance to win free weekly and monthly prizes. Elevate your betting strategy and join the conversation today at bettingpros.com/NFL contest. Even if you can't make wagers, you can still make picks and win some cool stuff. Let's start with the props here, and let's begin with Matthew Stafford. This one I love. I'm in on this one too. More to come on that a little later in the show. Matthew Stafford, 1.5 passing TDs. You are in the over for this. It's -135. So I'm going to show everybody how I want to make some more money on this one. But despite the juice being a little thick, I still like this one too. So let's talk about it. I know Puka's been red hot. I imagine that's part of this too.
Yeah, and 2-3 last week, so I lost the game, and I'm still 8 games over for the year on the props, 41-33, just so everybody knows. But Stafford over 1.5 passing touchdowns. He's had 2+ in 4 straight games, and I think you just need to put the ball in his hands if you want to win. He's on a heater. He's had gone a month without a pick. Puka, I mean, some of those catches that Puka was making made my jaw drop. I mean, he was on a heater last week. So I just think you put the ball in his hands, and the mantra recently has been take the ball away from Kyren a little bit. Not so much that you don't want Kyren getting more touches, but you want him safe should you be in the playoff mix, which they are firmly in. This is a game on short rest as well. So I think you pass the ball a little bit more with Stafford. I thought the completions and the pass attempts number was kind of iffy this week. So let's go with the touchdowns, because when you get down there with Nakua playing hot, Higbee might be back. We'll see. And Kupp scored a touchdown last week as well. He's done it for a month straight. He hasn't thrown a pick for a month straight. I think it's a pretty easy bet.
Yeah, I love this one. I'm in it with you. Let's go to Brock Purdy. Not for the passing. No. For the rushing. 20.5 is the number, and you like the over. Why?
Well, I mean, I told you, like, if it is Patrick Taylor, right, and you're going to have Debo, I think what you need to do in your rushing game is just make it a threat. Make it a threat and do it early to put it in the back of their minds. So I think running a couple early RPOs where Brock Purdy gets out of there and takes off a couple times, I think would be smart to at least, put in the game plan to show the Rams. And if Guarendo's going to miss multiple weeks, you show other teams that are looking, hey, we're willing to do RPOs with Purdy, right? We're willing to let him run the football a little bit. So I think we'll see 2 or 3 in the first half, just straight up design run plays for him. But also, the line has been a little bit shaky for the Niners. So I think Purdy has full permission to just take off and run with it. He did it last time against the Rams as well, 10 rushes for 41 yards. So I just think this is in the pocket in terms of, let's give them multiple looks if we aren't going to have one good back to run down their throat like we did with Jordan Mason, like we did with Christian McCaffrey before. Let's go ahead and give them multiple looks. I think it would be a smart maneuver to do that a couple times with Purdy, plus the bailout factor. I think he can do it.
All right, let's get to a tight end here, because the Rams have had some trouble with tight ends in recent weeks. I know you're going to pinpoint that. And this week they get George Kittle, one of the premium tight ends in the league. 56.5 is the receiving yards number at -120. And you're going to take the over on this. Now, look, in all fairness, some of these tight ends that they faced are also pretty decent and big parts of their offense. So I don't know how much that equates for you, but again, at this stage in the game, George Kittle's still one of these guys that's just like those other ones you're going to talk about who are still very much a part of their offense. So let's talk about this run that the Rams have been on in a negative way against some of these tight ends recently.
Yeah, I mean, they give up on average 53 yards to tight ends. Now, a lot of teams that they face have been using multiple tight ends, right? I think the Saints got there to this total using all three. It was Taysom, it was Jawan, and it was Foster Moreau. But it just shows the middle of the field is very vulnerable for the Rams right now. They gave up 6 to 63 for Hunter Henry. Hooper had 4 for 35 in that game. Obviously, Brock Bowers, as you said, a huge part of his team. He had 10 catches for 93. Tucker Kraft, 4 for 88 and 2 scores. And Kittle missed this game the first time they played, but Eric Saubert had 2 catches for 41 yards. So if Eric Saubert is out there torching this Rams defense, I think Kittle can do it. We saw him with a nice bounce back game after that poor performance against Buffalo the week before. And I just think, again, with all these running backs hurt, you're going to put the ball in Brock Purdy's hands a little bit more. Let him run it. Let him throw it. Let him do a little bit of everything and really lead this team and not be so much of a game manager. And part of that is making throws to your best players. So I expect Kittle to see a decent amount of targets in this game. And the weakness of the Rams is in pass coverage. So I think George Kittle can get this.
All right, let's go over to the Rams again. Let's talk about Kyren Williams. We like to look for those small numbers sometimes, but you found a small number that somehow you still like the under on, and it's at plus 150. Kyren Williams, under 1.5 receptions. Why do you think this one is going to be an under?
Hey, look, I my plus money one that we took last week, the Dave Montgomery receptions, I got, and then some. So that one was easy. So this is mainly about me really liking this plus number, plus 150. You getting 1.5. Of your dollar back, which would be great. But he's had 3 catches in the last 4 games. Kyren Williams has, and he got 2 last week in that absolute shootout with Buffalo. And it's what I said before, right? He just hasn't been targeted as much, and Blake Corum is coming in. And I think that this is going to be more of a game that we saw 2 weeks ago where, they got handled by the Eagles a couple weeks ago. But in that game, we saw Blake Corum was up to 37%. It was 63% of snaps for Kyren Williams. I think we might see a little bit of that, because if the goal really is to get Kyren Williams rest and not have him touch the ball so much, then you should kind of be doubly concerned about a Thursday game, right? Coming off of a Sunday game. I think that just makes sense. So I think he's going to see the field a little bit less than he has previously. He had 20 targets in his first 7 weeks, 12 in the last 6, and 3 targets in the last 3 weeks. And I just think that there's less of a need for him to be on the field down in and down out. And in that shootout, when it was going back and forth last week, he only had 2 catches. So I think this is going to be an under 1.5. It's a low number. I get it if you don't like it. I completely understand that, but I like this plus money.
All right, now I got to take it to task here, Box, because, we've always had a lot of defensive props here on Thursday Night Football. There's been some weeks in the last month or so where there weren't a lot of defensive props that you like, but you finally found one, and I'm very happy because it's like a little sense of normalcy here back on the show. So what did you find that you like on the defensive side of the football? Because I know this is one that you pay a ton of attention to.
Yeah, I really like Jared Verse. And over 0.25 sacks, I believe is is plus 120 for him when I was looking at it yesterday. Trent Williams, I don't know if he's going to play in this game. He had 3 hurries and 1 QB hit in the last game with Trent Williams in the game. And again, the Niners run game is weak right now, whether it's Garendo playing at less than 100% with his foot injury, or we're going all the way down to our 4th back in Patrick Taylor here. The run game is weak. I think you pass the ball a little bit more if you're the Niners. And I think Jared Verse could get to Brock Purdy this week. So again, another plus money one, a sack one, which, sacks are like touchdowns. They are hit or miss. So, but I just think with a weakened O-line, a fact that you might have to pass the ball a little bit more, I like this one for Jared Verse.
All right, if you're looking for props for Thursday night or any day or night of football, make sure you go to BettingPros Prop Bet Cheat Sheet. It's available right now, bettingpros.com/props, or just click on it on the app, Prop Bet Cheat Sheet. It's the best way to find what you're looking for, which is the projections against the over-unders and then the best house to bet them. I mean, right there in front of your eyes for you to literally cheat against everybody else and take all of the best possible props you can. So go check it out if you haven't already. Again, download the Betting Pros app, look for the prop bet cheat sheet, or go to bettingpros.com/props today, and you could sort it by positions, you can sort it by games, you can sort it however you want to make sure that you are betting on what you want and at the best place, at the best number, which is also extremely important. We want every edge we can get, and the prop bet cheat sheet helps us get that edge. Let's get to the SGP for Joey P for week 15 on Thursday Night Football. Give me Brock Purdy over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Yeah, I said it. I think we're going to be a little competitive here. Now, you could also change this with the Matthew Stafford one. I could give you both of those if you like, but I'm going to go with the Purdy one here on the other side of this. And we're going to go ahead with Purdy and Puka Nacua anytime touchdown score. You put those two things together, you get plus 285. So the juice was a little bit better on the Purdy side than it was on the Matthew Stafford one. It was a little heavier. So almost 3-1 for these two things. I think Purdy's going to throw a couple touchdowns. You mentioned Kittle. I think he's in store for one. I can see Juwan Jennings catching one. And it's also the thought process of, we're down a lot of running backs here. I know it's a Shanahan system. Everybody's a star. Ever since I was alive, any Shanahan running back is going to be useful pretty much. It doesn't matter who they are.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's senior or junior. No matter how many Shanahans you could find, they're going to find somebody around the football. But I do think you're going to see Brock Purdy here match. And I think this is going to be very competitive. This is kind of like, you beat the Bears last week. You have one more shot here against the Rams. If you could beat the Rams, you're kind of right back in this thing, which would be great because I've got a lot of 49er shares and a lot of parlays on the division for the beginning of the year for like $10 that could win me a couple grand.
It's not over.
It's not over, but I had to hedge a couple weeks ago with Seattle, and I'm glad I did. I got a couple other ones with Seattle now where I took the 49ers right out of there.
All right, everybody lock up the Rams. You know what to do now.
There you go. Lock it up. There it is. And if you're looking to build your own same-game parlay, you could do it also on the Betting Pros app. So combine multiple bets with a single NFL game. That's what an SGP is. You can leverage insights and correlation, bet recommendations, EV ratings, cover probability, and more. Protect your betting strategy by analyzing our overall correlation grades and projections and stay ahead of the pack with the latest SGPs placed by fellow bettors. That's one of the great things on Betting Pros. You can track other bettors, who's hot, who's having success in SGPs, where you can find them and start building winning parlays today at bettingpros.com/parlay or on the Betting Pros app. Download it today. Touchdown calls. I hate the fact, look, we went for the same one. So I'm just going to let you talk about it because I couldn't believe it was still plus money. To be honest with you, I think that's where I was. I was like, I can't say no to this. It's really the best one on the board. I could try to be cute and do something else, but I just don't want to do it. I just want to make money.
And it's Puka Nacua. It's plus 125. And why wouldn't you? He scored touchdowns in 3 of his last 4. Unbelievable week last week. I mean, just some of those catches that he was making were absurd. They were ridiculous. And you could easily see they're in the bag right now, him and Matt Stafford. So it's just put the ball up, let Puka go make a play on it, and he's going to come down with the football. And he did it so many times last week. They're on a heater. So it's easy. Is plus 125 still the best number?
That's what I saw going today. That's what I got.
Yeah, I mean, plus money on Puka is, I get it. Wide receivers and touchdowns, again, they're finicky.
They can be.
They can be pretty random.
It's riding the wave right now.
Yeah,
look,
but
Stafford always shows you who he is. He's the guy that's going to filter the ball to Coop and to Puka Nacua. Like, that's it, man. Like, that's what the offense really is. I mean, Kyren, since both guys have been there, it's been a little less of the Kyren Williams show. And rightfully so. I mean, this is who the Rams want to be anyway. And
your best two players, I love Kyren's a great player, but your best two players are Kupp and Nacua.
It'll be really fascinating to see here. If you have the Rams lose this game to the 49ers, and then Seattle somehow not come out with a victory, which, again, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they are going to win that game. Again, they're underdogs, and again, it's at home, and I just think they take it personally. And the Green Bay hangover from playing the Detroit Lions, which clearly is a thing. Andrew Erickson's right. All of a sudden, this is going to be a fascinating division, and Week 18, you get Rams-Seattle. So that's another potential playoff game, play-in game scenario here. So
Joey might be sweating that one with all them tickets on the Seahawks.
They don't call me Joey Cash Out for nothing. If they're going to give me a good number, I'll take it and run. Always take the money. Look, if you have a $10 bet and it could win $2,000 and somebody's going to offer you $800 to walk away, I'll take the $800 to walk away. That's an enormous win. I'm just saying.
Grandpa, why do they call one of your friends Joey cashes out and then Frankie throws away tickets? Why do they have different nicknames?
But look, man, I did a lot of them this year. I did a couple different combinations for the divisions because I again, you knew which divisions were already on lock, and then there were some that were up for grabs. Now, look, the Ravens would certainly help me by getting involved in, back in this division a little bit. That'd be interesting. But again,
thanks.
I hedged with the Steelers, so I'm okay there too. So there was only a finite number of teams, and I think there's still only a finite number of teams that I think can win the Super Bowl. And if you haven't done that already, you should consider it. Look at the Lions-Bills number together to be in the Super Bowl. Look at the Chiefs-Lions number to be in the Super Bowl. Bet those. Bet, the Eagles and the combination of the AFC teams. I just don't think there's nearly as many outs for these other teams as they might think, or the rest of the... People get hot, teams get hot. I know it happens, but I don't know, Boggs. I hate to say it's going to be like Dodgers-Yankees in the World Series, but it kind of feels like it might be Dodgers-Yankees in the World Series. Feels
like it's the Lions and the Eagles in the NFC and the Chiefs and the Bills.
That's what it feels like to me. So make those combos now. Get them all in early before they start picking off teams in the playoffs. This is the time right now, especially after the Bills just lost. You're getting some better numbers there. But alas, Thursday night is here. Let's go. Thursday Night Football is upon us. Don't forget to subscribe to Betting Pros wherever you get your podcasts and to the YouTube channel because, well, you like the show and it's a good time and we enjoy you. And thanks for being with us all season long, too. We got lots of football left to go. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For Scott Bogman, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.